Happy New Year. This is our January 2025 monthly market update with Kingdom Focus Financial, hosted by Michael Smith and Chuck Atzweiler. Take it away.
Hey, thanks, Derek. I appreciate that as always. And Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to our first update for 2025. It sounds weird to me even saying that. Chuck, I don't know. Have you adjusted yet to
I haven't.
2025?
It takes me a couple of weeks as the new year starts before I get adjusted.
It does. I have a big old post-it on my computer screen that says 2025 to remind me I gotta put that new date in there. I don't know what tips you guys use or might have for us in trying to make that transition, but it is a brand new year, and I'm excited. I'm excited about this year. We got some new things happening. Um, I always love the fact that we get a fresh start, right? And we come into the new year. We're at zero on the tax income brackets, right? We reset them every year the way they work in the U.S. and we got a lot of things ahead of us as we look at 2025. This month, we want to just sort of introduce you to what our focuses will be for 2025. Obviously, things can change, but as we look at a new presidential administration coming on board and the things that they have said they're going to be focused in on, we have a theme again for this year. And so, Chuck, I'm going to flip it right to you to dive in. And why don't you introduce us to the things that we're going to be focusing in on for 2025?
I'd be more than happy to, Michael, and a happy new year to you and certainly your great clients as well. If you recall back in 2024, our acronym, our theme for the year was FOUR. We walked through each one of those individually. We'll be doing the same this year, but we wanted to give a highlight here of the theme for 2025. It is the word, Michael, power, spelled POWER. So I'm going to spend about a minute or so going through each one of these. The P is productivity. I think, Michael, the number one question I've gotten out on the stump over the last 10 years, what about the national debt? And we've done extensive research in going back in history, two periods of time that many of our clients were alive, post-World War II and post the malaise of the 70s, where productivity gains garnered from what we used to call inventions, technological innovation, allowed companies to become more productive. Their workers, they paid them a higher wage. And you know what happened, Michael? After 20 years, from 1948 to 68, we ended up balancing the budget. We had balanced the budget last in 1998 and 99 and 2000. Productivity is going to be huge for growing not only the economy, but allowing the government to get the much needed tax revenue to get in line with what they spend in another year. The O, obesity and oncology. These are two areas that we're focusing on through healthcare and also through that sector. And we think that right around the corner is a biotech revolution that's going to hopefully bring in line people's health. We're going to focus on companies that have not only FDA approval with their drugs, but certainly are on the cutting edge of developing new ones. The W is world order, maybe world alliance could be a word you could use. Another question that I get, Michael, is what about the tariffs? And I think it's not only an intriguing question, but it's one that's on the top of people's minds. So let's roll back the clock here. Let's go all the way back to the year 2017. And when we started to talk about tariffs, the Trump administration certainly placed them on several countries. Probably the one that was most affected was China. If you walk through the 4 years of the Trump administration, you fast forward to the Biden administration, whether you like tariffs or not, the Biden administration didn't take one penny off of them. Actually, they slightly increased to China. So we have had tariffs over the last 8 years. It's not whether we like them, think they're effective or not, but here's what we've done in the portfolios. We will own companies and countries that meet two very strict criteria. Number one, are they a geopolitical ally of the United States? Number two, is there a forged trade agreement where there is not the imposition of tariffs associated with that? Michael, I think probably the one that I'm most excited about is this theme called electrification. We all know that the power grid certainly does not have the supply to meet demand. Several estimates are that this is a $7 trillion investment cycle. And we're not just talking about utilities, but we're talking about what is known as the full electrification value chain. From new generation energy to the revival of nuclear power. Think about what's going on in our own backyard here, Michael, with the 3 Mile Island being revamped. Who would have thunk it, right? As they say, we need to take these investment themes and drill down into the companies that are going to be supporting what we think is a mega cycle, and that, quite frankly, is undeniable. The last one is a carryover from 2024. If you remember the four, right? The F was the Fed, the O was oil, U was the US dollar. We were tracking both of those, but the R was reshoring. And I think it's amazing, Michael, because really, quite frankly, I don't know if the popular press has done their job in really letting the general populace fully understand this mega trend. Think about, you all go all the way back, right, to the advent of globalization. It was the fall of the Berlin Wall. You had the Soviet Union imploding in 1989, 1990, 91. We signed NAFTA with Canada and Mexico. China enters the World Trade Organization in 2001. We had virtually a 30-year period up until COVID where we outsourced jobs in factories. Well, that all changed. COVID brought us a new era, as did the fractured relationships around the world, which are quite frankly, could boil over into something that's even a war or series of wars. How do you have in your investment portfolios the understanding that you're going to own companies that have at least a sealed border around their own business? We call that a moat. Well, it's those companies that are bringing back jobs, factories, and intellectual property back into the US. We outsourced, Michael, 4 million jobs in that 30-year period. We brought back already 2 million of them. You can go around the country, drive through our great set of states, and you'll see almost in every single one of them a logistics factory, the expansion of a cloud data storage facility, what AI is bringing to the table. These all are interwoven into what we believe 2025 will bring, hopefully another year of returns that meet certainly the expectations of our clients and certainly are in sync with their plans. So it's power, Michael, as we move forward in 2025. And I'm going to pass it back to you, my friend. I think you have some closing remarks.
Yeah, I appreciate that and certainly look forward to 2025. I think it's an interesting word that we have for 2025. And just to touch up on some of the things you mentioned, for those that may not know exactly where I'm sitting, we are literally 15 miles away from 3 Mile Island, and it has been shut down for a while, but recently in the news, and what is certainly true here as in other locations, companies are recognizing that it's actually more cost effective for them to upgrade and refurbish existing plants instead of building complete new. And so that's what's going on here, right? And that electrification thing is certainly widespread. And as we move into more and more technology being at the base or the core of a lot of industries in the US, certainly that is something that we will be watching as it develops. And I think it goes right in with the O too. I mean, our AI, I know some people like it, some people don't. It has good and bads. What we have to remember is it's run by humans. It's programmed by humans, and inherently humans, we have an evil side, right? And so it's not about the product itself, it's about how it's run and how it's used. And so this will be a fun year as we look at that.
Absolutely.
So that everyone here understands these are themes as we move through the rest of this year. Each month we'll tackle one of these and dive into some of the specifics of how it may shape our portfolios. In general, I think you're going to continue to see us with an overweight on the US side, but starting to increase our exposure in the international world selectively as some of these things play out throughout the year. And if you didn't watch our December update, you should go and do that, where we talk about our expectations for another continued year of positive growth. I think that is the potential for this year, and I'm looking forward to what lies ahead of us. Thanks for being with us. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope things have transitioned well for you. I hope the rest of the winter goes well for you. And I look forward to seeing you again next month in February as we dive into the discussions for this year. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.